with an exception number and a small text label. It does have it has like a little circle with the number that matches the exception number on the back sheet. But it doesn't have like the recording information and basic info like on the actual sheet. It just, I mean, it has it in the last page. But so I guess I was going to ask you if you have
a preference,
like an example of like a different company survey that might show this.
Sure. I feel like my Fox Squirrel survey does. Let me take a peek.
And I can also show you what it looks like on.
I know what you're talking about. They include the circle with the exception number, but not the exception information.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Yeah, I would almost rather they do include the exception information. The more references we can have on the actual sheet, the better. But let me take a look and see what we did for Fox. It's been a minute since I've looked at the survey for Fox.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. Let's see.
Come on.
Oh no, that's 18, 19, 20, 17.
Okay. All right. Now can I share my screen for just a sec?
Mm-hmm.
This might be exceptionally hard to see, I don't know, from your end, but
I can see. Yeah.
okay, this is the survey for Fox, and here's an example. It's exception 29 on our Higgins title commitment, and it's a 20-foot drainage easement, and we do have the recording information and so that's what we did for Fox, and I like that better because it really calls it out. Like, it really tells you that there's an issue here.
Yeah.
Do you want me to send you this as an example?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be helpful, yeah.
All right, I can do that. I'll send you I don't want to send the whole survey, obviously, for proprietary reasons, but I'll send you a screenshot of what this looks like.
This is what. Oh gosh. Like they do this, like for the roads. Let me find a better exception. Where's the overhead wire? They have. I mean, I think that's kind of what that kind of matches what we need, right? This Georgia Power Company.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's fine too, as long as you understand it, and as long as, but now hold on a second though, because looks like there's a lot of different right-of-ways in there. Is it only, because I'm seeing two different lines. So, I see one with 3 wires and another one with 3 wires below it. So which one's Georgia Power?
So this note says there's no easement documents found in the title commitment for this.
Sure. So, but can you see how the Georgia Power Company note overlaps that particular line? So that's a bit confusing to me. So if they want to use the Georgia Power note, which is good and they should, they need to make sure it only covers the southern line there. Otherwise, plus then we have exception 30, exception 50, 13, and 22, and they're just not clearly identified. Like I don't want to have to go back to my exceptions sheet every time. So for me, I guess personally, because there's so much going on in this particular area, I probably would ask them to identify each.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm confused. Like it says, no easement found in the title commitment for. So they're labeling the transmission line, which is nice. So we have the Millville Milledgeville, Stevens Creek, and then the branch Evans. But if it's a 3-wire transmission line, that means it's pretty big, and I'm surprised we don't have anything in title for it.
Yeah.
So that might be worth double checking that particular double check to see like if it's in title, or and if not, like if there's a particular reason why. It would to me it would make sense that if we have one large transmission line that's on title, we should have the other, unless maybe perhaps they're sharing the same corridor and there's some sort of a mutual agreement that we don't know about.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but anyway, yeah, not a big fan of them labeling the right of way over the wrong line. So I would have them fix that or make it more defined.
Okay. I had another question, kind of related.
Sure.
If this overhead wire, that's not the property, but just let me back up. I can't find it. So like this overhead wire doesn't have, you can see right there what I'm pointing at. It doesn't have a easement in the title commitment, at least I can find, but that's not clearly labeled on the survey, so is that something that we would want to say, like, that the surveyor should say, like, what the same note that they just put up there, like,
Yeah,
not in the-
either one or the other. Like either one or the other. Like they need to be consistent.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't particularly care if it's one or the other, but as long as they identify it consistently.
Yeah. Okay. Back to my notes. See. Okay. Let's see. Phoenix input. Okay. All improvements should be labeled as as-built proposed. Some of this stuff is kind of similar. I'm wondering if it's like, if I'm not there yet, because I'm just reviewing.
Yeah,
I'm not
don't-
reviewing.
Don't worry about it. And you can take a multi-review approach. Like for now, we just want to make sure that is this your first time through?
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
we haven't given to engineering or anybody else yet.
Yeah. So I mean, just this time through, it's detailed because you need to make sure you have the right exceptions and they're labeled properly. You have the right, the right parcels and the right information on it, obviously. But I wouldn't get into the weeds too much on that kind of stuff because we don't have design overlay. We don't have any of that on the survey yet.
Okay. Gotcha. All public and private roads within and adjacent to the site labeled with name. Yes. With the road, yes. With the pavement, no. So is that something that is super important for them to?
Yeah, it is. And the reason why is because we use this for reference when determining if we need to widen a road or determining if we have the right easement in certain places. It's just good to know how wide the road is.
The next one is, I want you to look at the utilities, like, none of this, at least from my perspective, doesn't look like it's labeled. Poles are not numbered, no distance between poles.
I don't actually think that we do that in general, though.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that I've not once have I worried about the pole numbers or the
Okay.
dimensions between the poles. I think that what is important there is location of underground utilities. If they've done their locate, we need to know. Like, obviously, plotting the utilities is important. Knowing where they are is important, and a general idea of like marking your poles. For example, I think that in the lines that have the 3 wires on them, I think that every time it says overhead is likely where a pole is, or at least it's a to me it looks like it's an educated guess distance. Yeah, oh my god, educated guess for the distance. But it doesn't really particularly matter as long as they're labeled.
Okay. Yeah, I think we got that data, the pole data from the LiDAR.
Mhm.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I can see that they've labeled poles. Yeah, we don't need to call out the distance between each pole. It's gonna be too detail oriented and too cumbersome.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see, the next on the spreadsheet is utilities. Okay, so the underground utilities, they have a note on the survey about this. Design one call, 811 request replaced, request produced no plans and no utility markouts were observed.
Okay.
Therefore, no underground utilities are currently shown.
Okay, good. That's good enough.
Okay, cool. There is like a fire hydrant on some of the plant, in some areas, but I don't see any, I guess that's presumably within the county right of way,
Mhm.
so we're just assuming that.
Yep, that's what we have to assume.
Yeah. Cool. Uniquely number any and all crossings. So, number one, I don't think we're there yet.
We're not there yet.
Okay. And then number 2, this wasn't in the scope. We sent them the scope in June for the RFP, and so I think the scope got amended in October
Okay,
to include the crossing. So I think that's going to be like an upcoming change order.
that's fine.
When we got there, I haven't broached that conversation with them yet. Should I add that to the list or?
Probably.
Okay.
Can I pause this meeting for like 2 seconds?
Sure.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm back, Rachel. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
All right, where were we?
Crossings, gonna do that later. Basis of bearings. Just said yes. The legal descriptions don't really use bearings. They kind of just do. They're like, they mark the deeds. Like.
That's fine.
So table of encroachment. So they don't have this, and I didn't know if we're too early in the process.
We are too early.
Okay. It's like post design.
That'd be my guess. Yep.
Okay. Then table A items. So that was okay. Let's see if I had questions for you.
Sure.
Okay. My question is, our scope states for the contractor to do ground truthing, and I don't know what that would look like. Basically, in their notes, sheet 1, for item number 5, they say the LiDAR has not been verified by Encompass, but we want them to verify it.
I'm reading. Well, LiDAR is right?
Okay.
Like, I think that LiDAR, I think planimetrics is the data that we get to see on the survey. The LiDAR is not data we see on the survey. So, and that's kind of what WSB was explaining to us when we met last time, was that, LiDAR is great, but they don't necessarily use what we provide to them, I guess. They still fly it anyway, because I was like, well, if we provide LiDAR, what are you flying over for? And they're doing the planimetrics. So, which again, I'm not a surveyor. I don't know for sure what that means in great detail. But we're gonna learn. That's part of our goals for the year, is to have somebody come teach us what all that means. But I think the point is just to make sure that, we don't, or that, the topography and the ground and the elevation and all that stuff, is accurately reflected. Which I think they did. I mean, I think I could see the elevation lines on the map.
Yeah, they do have the elevations. Let me switch over to that. They've got that. But basically the note says, contract data shown is based on aerial LiDAR, not been verified by Encompass.
Okay.
So.
Well, now I'm really just confused. Because I was told.
That's what it looks like. So I just don't know, how the.
And I will say, I have not had a survey where they had topography and elevation and contour lines drawn on the map before. Encompass is the first one to do that. So maybe I need to ask Jessica a question about it. Maybe I need to get some more detail from her on why one company is showing contour and elevation from our LiDAR, but stating they won't verify or ground truth it, and then why other companies aren't showing. Yeah, so let me write that down as a question to ask her. For now, don't worry about it. Just keep doing your review, and I'll find out.
Okay.
And this is the rock house, right? Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a note on the to-do list for today, so I'll ask her about it.
Buildings, like a lot of these notes are just the same. It's like existing building insurance survey from aerial LiDAR,
Mhm.
or by others, substantial features provided by others, evidence of underground utilities, no utility plan provided. So I didn't know if that was like something that might come into play.
Well, I mean, that's sort of interesting comment to make, considering they did do a locate and didn't find any utilities underground.
Yeah.
And then.
Oh, well, yeah. Let me go back to the survey. I think I paraphrased there when I wrote that note. It does say, yeah, no utility plans have been provided by client. Design phone call 811 requests were placed. No plans, no utility markouts were observed.
Okay, so we're fine for now. Once we do provide them with our design overlay, then they'll identify the utilities. And that would be our lines, like our collector lines and stuff.
Oh yeah, government requirements just says does not apply.
That means that there's probably not a requirement specified for the area.
It's on an aerial LiDAR. Not observed, not observed. And that's missing the table. Access is shown on the surveyor. Vicinity map is shown on the surveyor. Yes, wetland data requirements. Yes. Okay. So that's it.
Okay.
Let me just go back to my other notes and just double check. Find one parcel, okay. Okay, so my next question for you. Oh my gosh, it's already almost. We have 3 minutes left. It's okay. So maybe we should just go back or I can just message you. But basically my question is about process and like sending them comments, and then I need some of the deliverables we have not gotten. I'm just wondering if we ever get them as like the AutoCAD formats and as survey legal descriptions, like all of that stuff. Like right now I've only received the PDF, and so I have comments to get back to them obviously based on what you and I talked about today, but I'm just kind of, maybe we can come back and talk about this later, but just curious about that process of asking for stuff.
That we don't have 3 minutes won't cover that the answer.
Okay.
So why don't we circle back this afternoon? I think I have some opening.
Okay.
So we can circle back. All right, I'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay.
Yep, bye. What are you doing?
I'm eating muffins. I'm drinking milk.
Could you pretty please come down here and grab my cup of coffee and make me another cup? I don't have time to make one before my next meeting.
Yeah, sure.
All right, thank you.
Okay, on my way.
Thank
Where's
you.
where's her
Yeah.
youngest?
She just got up. I'm presenting in this next meeting, so don't be offended if I turn my camera so I can't see you.
Don't be offended if what?
I turn my camera so I can't see you.
No, it's not offensive. Why would I be? I wouldn't even know. Me and Audrey should be leaving here soon. Keep checking the radar.
left or?
Me and Mary both are here right now. We're enjoying it so far.
Yeah. Oh, you two can't get together. That would be big trouble. Oh, we are. Thank you. We're in the same town. Yeah. We're going roller skating. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I just like watching people on the strip and laughing at those drunk people.
Girl, go roller skating. They're much funnier.
Much funnier.
Yeah.
I think that in mind for the next Vegas trip.
Yes.
Haley, is that your background or is that a superimposed one? Because it looks right out of a magazine.
Oh, this is my house.
Oh, pretty. Oh, Haley, you don't even have furniture yet. Come on.
Yvonne, I would like to say that we are finally out of our lawn chairs. So, okay, I'm gonna hear it.
Okay, I applaud you.
It's been the greatest addition to our board. Like, you guys don't have a couch.
Look, the
No,
lawn.
I'm in the lawn where they're bananas.
Hey, Mary, remember we had our conversation about me not being able to work on Martha, Minnesota?
Oh, now you can. They're getting, what, 20 inches of snow?
Well, honey, it's raining in California.
Oh, okay.
I can't get going on.
It snowed here yesterday.
Just so you can see. I'm rocking it for the got the fake fur and everything. If I want to take a nap, I can just roll it
Well, you got use out of it now.
Finally did.
Finally.
Roll.
Okay.
So excited. It's ridiculous. A jacket.
How cold is it there, Susie?
Florida weather. When I left, it was raining last night.
Really?
From my
Yeah.
house, it was 40 degrees when I left.
Oh, look, that's cold. I mean,
Yeah, it's cold.
Look for you
that's
guys.
cold. Okay.
But that's considered warm considering the last couple weeks it's been about 33, 34 when I leave the house. So there was no water, so I couldn't justify wearing this coat or just cold weather. With the rain.
So, we're just chatting. Do we have management on here? Oh, we do. There's someone. Look, there's Jessica. Mandy's here. Okay.
I think we're waiting to kick it off for Carolina. I don't see her. There she is. There she is. And then I don't see Kate yet.
Here now, sorry. My internet's been bugging out the last couple of days. In California, we also got snow
Yes.
last night. Not the snow of Minnesota. We got
Got snow
snow.
in
We got
Vegas, too.
1.25 inches of snow. It was more like snow dust, to be fair. But we got snow.
So I should have gone to your house and really put the jacket to work. Playing the
That's
snow
what I'm
rolling
thinking, yes.
roll around your driveway.
You could have made snow angels.
It's a cold 39 degrees here, so I'm freezing. I'm sure that's nothing compared to Minneapolis, but I'll say so just because, you know, that's what I do in California.
That's cold. You heard your Parker, Susie.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I shall be styling it for every day that it rains. At 40 degrees.
Send me a picture.
You got it.
Can you guys see my screen? I should be sharing now.
Yep.
I'm not on camera right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Light on the primer.
So today we have a couple of things to cover. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off. I know Kate's joining here shortly, and then she'll take over in terms of some of the other topics later in the day. But I'll kick it off today with safety, as we always do. So we all know the Safe Start stories in terms of what are we doing in terms of specific action or specific errors or things that may cause an injury, and how that injury may be less risky right now, but more risky later. I can go ahead and go with the Safe Start story today, and then as we progress, other people can volunteer as well. was like rushing through cooking when I was complacent on the cooking, right? I was like, oh, I got this. I'm just like slicing an onion. I don't know what I'm doing. I forgot on my task. Mine was definitely not on the task of cutting an onion. And so it was a close call because I was like able to, as my brain turned on, I was like, oops, stop. But it could have been a close call to a minor injury, right? Like slicing off part of my finger. So that's my safe start story, which is happening this week. Does anybody else have another safe start story that they want to share?
I'll throw one in. It's not necessarily a story, but especially because Minnesota and other parts of the country just got walloped with a bunch of snow. Minnesota in particular has had a lot of snow this season relative to the quote-unquote normal. And so the more we get, although we did have a nice reprieve in weather and we had some melt, coming into the corners in a vehicle, the snow is so much higher right now that it's really hard to see around corners. And so be cognizant that those piles are there and may be impeding your view. And then I could not mention an ode to the plow drivers because my husband is one in the wintertime. And so please give them space. I can assure you, when people are distracted and they run into them, the plow sustains very little damage. But the people who run into them are really, they have a bad day and they're doing other things, I'm sure, than they've planned for the remainder of their day. So give them plenty of space. Make sure that you are packing your car, especially in most of the snow is done now, but if you are driving during winter storm conditions, make sure you have safety gear in the back in case you could get stranded, and make sure people know where you're going and when you've landed.
Great, thank you for that, Jeannie. That applies somewhat to California. Not necessarily all of the machinery, but all of the other pieces might apply as well. Yeah, so, great.
Hey, Carolina.
Yes.
Kindred Spirits. See the Band-Aid?
Okay. Yeah.
Were you also watching Star Trek, Richard?
No. My daughters were watching some cartoon and I was cutting up some cheese just before dinner because they were really hungry and Daddy turned to watch the cartoon for a moment.
So the cartoon is also exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you everybody for sharing. And next month we'll have others share their safe start story as well. So as part of our growth and continued growth in 2023, we do have new team members from our last meeting. So we have Kamika, Dan, Karen, Kyle, and Hector with us who are new. So turn it over to Kamika if you want to just say something a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background to EDF, and something interesting about you, maybe your favorite movie or TV show since we're down that vein, or some favorite snow event. So go ahead and go, and then we'll turn over to Dan after that.
Good morning, I'm Kamika. I am a new document specialist.
What's up?
This is my 4th week, and working with Julie, and I'm pretty much a homebody. I like all things involved with me.
You can probably come over this
I
afternoon.
like to spend time with my family and friends, travel with my siblings, binge watch shows.
After the snow stops and shit's removed, those parents gotta bring them.
I like to crochet.
Yeah, I know.
And I have 2 cats. I had to kick one of them out of here because she was like going nuts. So
You also need to clean up your mashed potato mess like you told me you were going to.
Before I came
Not to mention like the entire mess that your dog made.
Oh yeah, all the floofies everywhere.
This is a little bit different, but currently really enjoying it.
I gotta pay check this
And
meeting
I
now.
will pass it over. Is it
To Dan.
Dan? Sorry, to Dan.
Hi, I'm Dan Lutz, I'm an agent, and I've been in the land industry for about 16 years. Came out of oil and gas. Don't hate me. So I just started last year in May. So
there's plenty of oil and gas. I came from oil and gas way long ago. There was a company that manufactured commercial dive equipment mostly for oil and gas. So, no judgment here, Dan. Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing. And Susie, I saw you popped up with a question. Wasn't sure if there's other questions being raised or if you wanted to speak.
Oh, I was trying to react by clapping and I clapped the raise instead.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay, moving it over. Karen, do you want to go next?
Hi everyone, I'm Karen. I live in Canton, Ohio, Football Hall of Fame town. For those who are sports fanatics. I've been in the title and escrow field for 28 years, or just a little over 28 years. I'm a licensed title agent as well here in my state and in Michigan. My previous position I had was senior escrow officer for one of the larger national companies throughout the country. My favorite, one thing that's different, my husband and I, well mainly my husband, we used to own a bowling alley, so that's something I don't know if you care about bowling alleys anymore, so that's why we used to own one. But,
oh my gosh.
so that's because of the pandemic, so we just got out of that business. But other than that, I just love being around family and friends, and just got back at 12:30 this morning from Florida to visit my 92-year-old father. So I'm drinking a lot of coffee and tea and whatever else has caffeine in it.
Nice. Thank you for sharing, Karen.
Thank you.
Okay, Kyle, over to you.
Hi everybody, my name's Kyle. A little about me is I live out in Fort Worth. I have over 10 years experience of working in the real estate tile industry as a tile examiner. This is my second week at EDF working as a tile specialist, and I'm having a great time learning how this company works. I'm looking forward to learning even more. A little bit about me is I have two boys, 12 and 9 years old. A 2-year-old golden retriever. His name's Luca. He's an Irish fan, so that's where you guys came from. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks y'all for having me.
Thank you. And Hector is joining us from our digital technology team. He's new to the team. He'll be helping to support us. Hector, are you on the call?
I am. I'm literally new. This is my second day at EDF, so it was exciting to hear you all talk at the beginning. It sounds like a super fun group, so that was nice. So again, my name is Hector Leonda. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So I do sympathize with those who are in Minnesota. It's super cold there. It's warm there. I've been working in so partnering with the land management group on all things change, but I haven't had to do some of the other. But I will anything management, communication, that I'll be honest about with all of you. So stay tuned and literally I'm coming up with something very, very quick. I've had 22 years of supported change initiatives, plus people. Super excited to be here. In terms of property design, at home I have different exotic plants, so I can collect them all over the world. Love the beach, love resurfing, everything that's so again, super excited to get to know all of you. Learn the plants.
Thank you, Hector, for that. And welcome everybody to the team. Next up is when we have some general team updates. Dayuti, are you on the call?
Hello, yes.
You want to go ahead and go with your topic?
Sure. Yeah, so I will keep it kind of brief. I wanted to use this time to inform the team on external file sharing options through Project Hub. Also to introduce myself to anyone who I haven't met. My name is Dayuti. I'm the Hub and also point you towards some resources in case you need any support with setting up an external file share. And then I also wanted to give some general guidance on what we're recommending for external file sharing solutions in general, because there's things outside of SharePoint and outside of Project Hub, like Procore, Malbec, Firmex that teams use, and that is still totally appropriate, especially for certain projects that are already used to using that. But then there's other cases like Dropbox that I want to kind of steer people away from going towards as an option, because we have things like external file sharing within Project Hub. So first I will show you what external file sharing looks like within Project Hub and how you can get more resources. So it's okay, I'll just steal this share. So on Project Hub, sorry, I lost it. Okay, so here's the Project Hub page, and on the left side here are navigation. Here for guided walkthroughs. So this actually, if you click on it, it takes you to Miro, and in here we have some support resources. So we have a table of contents here that will give you guidance on a few different aspects. We're continually adding to this as we keep building out process flows and receiving questions. We'll kind of identify the higher priority process flows to outline. So one of them that we have here is how to share hub files with people outside of EDF. So I won't go through all the steps, but this is where you could go to get that guidance. And then you can always also reach out to Michelle, who's our senior business analyst, or attend her office hours if you need more support there. So I won't walk through this, but wanted to make sure you all were aware of this resource. And then within Project Hub itself, the way that external file sharing looks, that you'll, when you click on our project, you go to the landing page here, and then for anything internal, you click on internal project files, and then to go to anything that you want to share with an external party, go to external project files, and then within each folder, you can actually add members to a folder. And then there's an authentication process as well. Michelle would have to be involved in adding everyone at this point, so just keep her in the loop. And we also have, we're soon going to have a fresh service portal for Project Hub as well, so you can also submit your request to add an external share using fresh service. So as soon as that's available, we'll be communicating with everyone that that's an option. So any questions on that so far, on what we have available within Project Hub for external file sharing? Okay, and then if not, the other piece that I wanted to discuss, it was related to Dropbox and kind of our guidance for the other tools. So as I mentioned, there's other tools like Firmex, Procore, Malbec that are used to work with third parties, and our guidance is to continue using that at this time. We're not intending on replacing those solutions because they have a lot of capabilities that Project Hub can't replicate at this point. So if that's something that your team uses, or if certain third parties that you work with are used to using, continue using that. The piece of guidance that I will give is regarding Dropbox. That is something that at this point, typically the way that users will use Dropbox is by creating their own account and sending files using that. And so it's actually considered much less secure to go through an individual Dropbox account. So that's why I'd really like to steer everyone away from doing that. And just highlight that if you need a new external share, start with Project Hub, start with SharePoint. We are planning on creating even more robust guidance on this and kind of giving scenario-based guidelines on external file sharing solutions and what the best practices would be. And I can also give a little bit more information about why we might recommend away from certain options like Dropbox as well, because right now I'm just kind of keeping it general by saying it's less secure, but I can give you some more information as we do a bit more analysis what our recommendations are. So that's really it. That's the message. I just want everyone to be aware that there is external file sharing through Project Hub, and then all the other options, for the most part, are still usable. So don't worry about transitioning all of your processes into Project Hub at this point.
So Dayuthi, just a quick question for you on the external file sharing. Microsoft Teams with external sharing. Is there a specific guidance you provide on the use of those? Because I believe those are continuing. Is there a transition plan or anything you can help to provide there?
So that is another area that we need to do more analysis in. It's part of SharePoint, so it is secure, and especially if you're using your Project Hub folder external sharing within Teams, it's exactly the same as using it within SharePoint. I need a bit more awareness of how teams are using the internal team. So honestly, this is a good opportunity if anyone would like to share what they're used to using, especially if most of your external sharing happens through Teams. I can take down some notes that I can come back to with you all.
I do have a question. Do you guys recommend that we use EDF external share? Because we do have we have Mirabini that we share our documents with, and we're using their external share drive versus EDFs. So what do you recommend we use ours or theirs?
That's a really good question. It's not something I had awareness of. So at this point,
Do that with two projects, Lakefield and Shiloh Ford.
Okay. I can't speak to whether that's appropriate or not because it's a new scenario for me. So I'll have to look into it and learn a bit more. But if they have, I'm assuming that a different third party using it, it's secure for them. So it should be fine. Right now, don't break your processes. But let me get back to you, Mary. I'll look into it a bit more.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Maybe like Sherry, you can follow up with Dayuthi on the external sharing pieces that we use, and then we can create some additional guidance. For now, just as is that what I'm hearing Dayuthi on both the Marabini and the Teams external sharing that we currently use outside of Project Hub until we get more guidance from you?
Yeah.
Awesome. Any other questions, team? Great. Thank you so much for joining Dayuthi and helping us with the new external file sharing.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Go ahead and take back the screen here. One of the other things that we had today was in regards to SAP CAT. So as most of you know, we have been using SAP CAT to enter time for purposes of budgets and to capture costs for energy projects. So there's been a change in the policy. As of now, only specific LCE team members are required to enter time. For a list of whether you're part of that, you can click on the link and it will take you to a SharePoint page, an Excel sheet that can provide you whether you're exempt or you're required to enter time. But in general, directors and above or capped exempt. Operational administrative functions are capped exempt. For example, the landowner helpline team is, for example, exempt. The land contract administration team is exempt. I'm exempt as a general administrative function as well. So please click on the link to see if you're specifically required to enter time or you're exempt moving forward. CAPS exempt employee, so even though you're exempt, if you might have to enter ad hoc time to a project, this is specifically regarding significant work on Phasegate projects. These are, for example, when you have a large amendment campaign, a large termination campaign for a specific project. If you're working in general 4+ hours on a specific project, a large amount of work, please still enter the time in CAPS and make sure that that's entered just so that we can have that time dedicated towards the budget of that project specifically. And then the last change is we're no longer going to use the LCIO 9900721 for purposes of admin work. So please use the new WBS that I listed there, the P-0000001. for non-project related work, for admin work, and then continue to use, I think most of you guys are using the 0002 for vacation, sick, and holiday time. So these are just some of the general updates in terms of how to enter CAT's time. I did update the work instructions that is on the first link here called SAP CAT. So please, if you have any questions, need help in updating your specific template in SAP, reach out to your manager, and then you can also reach out to me if you have more questions on this as well. Yes, go ahead.
Just real quick, for those that are deemed quote unquote exempt, but might be putting in some major project work time that would require them to fill out a time sheet, are they still needing to come up with their full 100% of hours? So let's say,
No.
No. Okay, so they just, it's going to take it, submit it with, let's say, 40 hours or 40% of a week's worth of time dedicated to a particular project?
That's right. It will still take.
Yeah. So just a little bit of context for folks who are new on what we are doing here. The SAP CAT time tracking initiative is essentially attempting to capture work hours or man hours on projects that ultimately move forward into project capitalization and ultimately give us the opportunity as an organization to recover costs related to people working on projects. So when you think about, we go and we build a solar project and we're operating the solar project and we're getting paid for, the electricity that we generate, the solar, the sun and the sunshine is free. And the way that we sort of create the pricing for the project is to take all of the costs associated with the project and sort of divide it by what we